Hello students, in this video lecture we will discuss few important points about glass. Glass is basically a very important engineering material and it is widely used in so many applications in both domestic and industrial areas. So chemically if we talk, what is glass? Glass is basically a super cooled liquid. So glass is actually, if you talk chemically, it is not a solid but it is a liquid that is super cooled. Super cooled, it means that it is cooled beyond its crystallization temperature. It is hard, rigid, it can be transparent or it can be translucent, but by nature it is brittle which breaks very easily, and again it is a super cooled liquid. We are calling it a liquid because in any solid material there is some order in the structure. If you analyze any solid structure minutely, you may find some order, but in liquids there is no such order present. So therefore, if you find the minute structure of glass, it is lacking any orderly structure inside, so we call it what? A liquid that is super cooled. It is non crystalline substance and it has no definite melting point. Every solid material has a definite melting point, but since it is a liquid, it doesn't have any melting point, and it is a non crystalline substance. It means that molecules are located in disorderly manner. It has very high viscosity which prevents crystallization. Chemically, what is glass? It is a fused mixture of different type of silicates. These silicates may belong to the alkali metals or alkaline earth compound and some other constituents which are imparting some specific properties to the glass. Like barium oxide and lead oxide, they may be present and they may impart some specific properties, but widely, if we talk, glass is having this common formula Xr2O, YMO, and 6SiO2. It means that essentially silicates are there in the glass and they are combined with some other type of oxides. So what is R? R is monovalent alkali metal atom. It can be sodium, it can be potassium, which depend on which the type of glass that we are discussing. So in some glass it is sodium. Whenever it is sodium, it is called soft glass, and when it is potassium, it is called hard glass. This M is what? It is a bivalent metal atom and generally it is calcium, but sometimes in specific type of glasses it can be lead, it can be zinc and so many other metals, metal ions, but essentially they are bivalent metal atoms. So this is a common formula all the glasses have. Now let us discuss about the ordinary glass. Ordinary glass or the soft glass is having this formula Na2O, that is sodium oxide, CaO, calcium oxide, and 6SiO2. So again it is a type of silicate and we have sodium in the place of monovalent alkali metal atom. When this sodium is not here and in place of the sodium we have potassium ion K2O, then it is what? It is hard glass. Hard and soft glass, they both have different applications. Now let us discuss some common characteristic of glass. Hardness. Glass is a hard material. It has transparency. It means that light can pass through it. It can pass with 100% of the rate, then it is called transparent, and sometimes only a partial fraction of light is passed, then it is called translucent. Then it has some refractive capacity. It means that it is able to deviate the path of light. Dispersive capacity, again it is able to deviate the path of light. Then low thermal conductivity. Glasses are not known for their thermal conductivity. Actually that is due to absence of the crystalline structure. Actually that orderly crystalline structure is responsible for both thermal and electrical conductivity, and if it is not there, like in the similar is the case of plastics, when this orderly crystalline structure is absent, then they are also having this low thermal conductivity. Then glasses are having high electrical insulation, and this is why that is why the glass wool is generally used in the furnaces as electrical insulator material. Now, another property is they have a low coefficient of cubical expansion. They has this ability to absorb colors, and still they are transparent. This is a very special property of glasses, that they may be colored but still they are passing light. Then chemical inertness in another property of glass, due to which the glasswares are extensively used to in the chemistry lab, and to hold different type of chemicals. So many reactive chemicals are actually put inside the glass bottles. So under the ordinary condition, it means that under ordinary temperature and ordinary pressure, glasses are chemically inert material. Now let us discuss the manufacturing of glass. Manufacturing of glass. So first of all, let us see what are the raw materials required in the manufacturing of glass. So here I have written the name of raw material, and in this column I have written the function. So let us see, the first raw material is soda ash. Soda ash is basically sodium carbonate, and it is used as a source of sodium oxide. Sodium oxide is the most common element present in the glass, and when you are preparing a soft glass, it is the key most ingredient, Na2O. So sodium carbonate is used as a source of Na2O, sodium oxide, and if sodium carbonate we are not using, then we can also use sodium nitrate and sodium sulfate. If we are preparing hard glass, then we require K2O in place of Na2O, and for this we require potash or feldspar as a source of K2O in the raw material, and again potassium carbonate or potassium nitrate can also be used. Third most required raw material is limestone, or we can also use burnt dolomite or MgO as a source of calcium oxide. This is the second part of the glass chemical structure that we have we just saw that the second part of the glass is any bivalent alkali metal ion, and this in this place generally we have calcium. So for calcium source we are using limestone. Then we have red lead as a source of lead oxide. If we are incorporating this lead inside our glass to impart specific property, then we are using red lead, or we can also use a litharge, that is lead oxide, directly as a source of PbO. Then silica SiO2, this is the most common ingredient in the glass raw material, and it is required in the highest proportion. We can use quartz or we can use white silica, but obviously this silica needs to be washed before use. Why is it so? Because sometimes silica or sand may have impurity of iron oxide, and when we are using such type of silica, it will impart a specific color to the glass that we actually doesn't want to incorporate unnecessary color into the glass. So every time whenever silica is used, either quartz is used, or the silica, if you are using ordinary silica, then it is washed before use to remove the impurity of iron oxide. Another raw material that can be used is borax. Borax is actually used as a source of boron trioxide, and it is used as a raw material when we are preparing uh, the glass having a lesser coefficient of expansion. That is the glass that is used in the laboratories, and which is generally known as borosilicate. So whenever we are preparing borosilicate type of glass, we require borax in the raw material, that is actually the source of B2O3 and decreases the coefficient of expansion. It is actually imparting the property of heat resistance in the glass. Another raw material used is the zinc oxide, which is generally used along with the borax to decrease the expansion coefficient. Phosphoric acid is another type of raw material that can be used if we want to give brightness, and that is generally in the case of when we are preparing tableware. So for giving brightness to the glass, we can use phosphoric acid in the raw material. Moving further, we can use calcium phosphate. It is actually giving the opalescent appearance to the finished glass. Then there are some refining agents like sodium sulfate, sodium chloride, and sodium nitrate, and they are generally mixed with the raw material to remove the small gas bubbles from the glass. Actually, when all the raw materials are mixed together and they are heated in the furnace, what happens? There is release of carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide gases, and they are producing bubbles inside the glass liquid, and these bubbles are highly undesirable. So when you add these refining agents Na2SO4 and NaCl, they actually help in releasing these gas bubbles and make the appearance of glass very clear. Now, very important part is the coloring agents. So many salts of transition metal ions are used in the manufacturing of glass to impart it a specific color. So if you can see here, we have chromium oxide to impart green color, ferrous oxide for green color, MnO2 for purple color, cobalt oxide for blue color, Cu2O, that is cuprous oxide for the red color, then cupric salt for peacock blue color. And if you can notice, all these metals are transition metal ions, and they are actually known for their DD transition, and that is why they are able to give color to the glass. And this is a very important property of glass, that even after absorbing the color, they remain transparent. The last important raw material is culet, and culets are actually the crushed or broken glass obtained from the defective articles or broken pieces, broken glass material. And these broken pieces of glass, the culets, are actually mixed with the raw material. What is their function? They make melting very easy, and also we are utilizing the waste glass into this process. So this is all about the raw materials that we are using in the manufacturing of glass. Let us summarize in brief the manufacturing process. We will discuss all these points in detail in the next lecture. The very first step of manufacturing of glass is melting, second is shaping, then annealing, then finishing, and finally the devitrification. So these are the 5 important processes when we are discussing the manufacturing of glass, and each of these processes we will discuss in the next lecture. Thank you.